What in tarnation?
Howdy folks, this is Applegeek, and we are back in action. Season 6 resumes with episode 13, Stranger Than Fan Fiction. Yeah, basically, Rainbow Dash is going to a Daring Do convention, it sounds like. Beyond that, I'm really not sure what they have in store for us on this. But, yeah, having been to a couple conventions myself now, in fairly recent history, you know, albeit smaller ones, but you know, that whole experience is still kind of fresh in my mind. So I'm gonna be very curious to see what they end up doing in terms of, like, you know, gags and jokes and references to the convention experience. I imagine there's gonna be some fun stuff in here. There's got to be. So, yeah, I don't really have any further comments on that. So I'm just gonna go ahead and give this a watch and see what this second half of the season has got in store for us here. So, without further ado, Stranger Than Fan Fiction, starting now. Oh, right into Daring Do. Ooh. Careful. Elevator key. Run quickly. Okay. How did you not see?
Well, don't stop there. You read, I pack.
You're
That's
reading
the
a book. Okay.
I'm sorry, Rainbow Dash. I just keep thinking about how much fun you're gonna have at the Daring Do convention.
How are you
I
not
wish
going,
Princess
Twilight?
Celestia didn't need my help with the Friendship Summit in Griffinstone.
Don't worry. I'll make sure AK Yearling signs your book.
Okay.
I can't believe she's gonna be there. She never goes to conventions. Which, I guess, will
Joke
be
number
cool
one.
for all those other fan ponies. But since you and I know AK Yearling personally, and we know that she's secretly Daring Do herself, it's no big deal. This convention will be fun, but it's nothing to get too excited about.
Oh, right.
Excited?
Oh man, I've got to pick that scene apart later. Okay, so yeah, my obvious question was immediately answered. Twilight, why aren't you going? Friendship Summit in Griffinstone. Foreshadowing, I certainly hope. Yeah, really glad we're touching on that one again. Anyway, okay, the video I downloaded this looks like it's kind of jerky, so I apologize for that, but anyway. Oh, Rainbow Dash, what are you gonna do here? Oh boy.
You look like a pony who'd be up for an all-inclusive, one-of-a-kind adventucation where you get to live the Daring Do experience.
No thanks. Did that already.
Yeah, she did.
This
Very
is
nice.
the awesomest thing ever.
Now this is something that only a true fan can
Hey,
appreciate.
Patton.
They even put the tiles in the right order.
Good catch. Oh, I'm Quibble Pants. Nice to meet you.
Quibble
Rainbow
Pants.
Dash.
Okay.
Nice costume.
You too.
Thanks. The hard part was figuring out the right number of arrow holes.
Because on page 84 of Sapphire Stone, it describes her dodging a, quote,
Oh, man.
score of arrows shooting forth from holes in the very walls, unquote. But then, on page 107, Daring Do says she, quote, barely made it past the trap's barrage of arrows, unquote. But clearly, Daring Do is embellishing, and the correct number of arrows is 20.
Oh no, oh no. I can hear the shippers already. Oh boy. A pillow with Yep, all kinds of figurines and Funkos and bobbleheads and oh yes.
I am so glad I ran into you. Even though I knew the convention would be totally awesome, it's more fun when you're with someone who really knows Daring Do.
I know what you
True.
mean. It's so hard to find a pony who really gets it.
That's weird. We've only done stuff from the first trilogy. After lunch, we should probably start working our way back through the other books.
Whoa,
Uh-oh.
whoa.
Uh-oh.
There are no other books.
Oh, no.
Of course there are. Daring doing the trek of the terrifying towers, Daring doing the many faces of...
Please don't. Just don't even mention the titles. I'm not saying those books don't exist. I'm saying that I refuse to acknowledge them.
Why?
Because they're horrible! I mean, there isn't a single thing after Ring of Destiny that is even remotely in the realm of the possible!
What? I know for a fact that
This sounds like
everything
Brony's
in
descriptions
every
of
one
previous
those
generations.
books is 100% possible.
And
There is
how
no
could you
G3.
possibly know that?
I just do.
Uh-oh.
Well, that's a compelling argument.
Why would you even come to this
Careful,
convention if
Dash,
you
don't
hate
spill the
Daring Do
beans.
so much?
I don't hate Daring Do. The first series was smart and cool and an amazing nod to old-time serialized adventure books that somehow manages to be self-reflexive and ironic while at the same time celebrating the art form without a hint of cynicism. Which is why I came here to ask A.K. Yearling, muzzle to muzzle, why she sold out and dumbed down the rest of her books into just a series of impossible action sequences.
Okay, now I know you're crazy. A.K. Yearling is awesome, and every Daring Do book that comes out is better than the last.
Wow. Okay, yeah, I'm sorry, but I could never be friends with some pony who's willing to believe impossible stuff is possible as long as Daring Do does it.
That's okay, because I could never be friends with some pony who's so focused on things being possible that he's willing to turn his back on the coolest hero of all time.
Fine.
That looked like a coriander cumin recolor there.
Look, just tell A.K. Yearling that
That's a
Rainbow
nice
Dash is
hotel.
here, and I need her help to convince a know-it-all pony that everything Daring Do's ever done actually happened. Rainbow Dash? A.K. I've got to talk to you. It's an emergency. Not here. Now tell me, what's going on? Is it Caballeron? Did you see him? What? No. But there is a pony downstairs who thinks everything you've written after the first trilogy is totally unrealistic and terrible. And I need you to help me prove to him that it's all
I wonder if the
totally
first books
possible.
were actually
I've got bigger problems on
fiction,
my
but
hooks
then
than to
she actually
satisfy fan
started
ponies.
doing real stuff. I don't...
The amulet of Kulikon, and Caballeron wants it. But the amulet's only a key. The real treasure
what?
is hidden in a lost temple. The seven-sided chest of Chico Mazdoc. Caballeron wants
The
to
who
sell
what
it to the
now?
highest bidder, of course. Which is why I need to find it first.
Yes! Sounds like another awesome Daring Do adventure! But what are you doing here?
Since I haven't found the temple yet, it's the safest place for me and the amulet. It's crawling with security, and if I get into trouble, I can just blend in with all the Daring Do costumes. How can
That
I-
look on her
Keep
face.
your eyes out for anything suspicious.
Got it. Does a pony who only likes your first trilogy qualify as suspicious? Just checking.
Missing the point, Dash. Oh, nice little, always little costume.
I find all this fanfare around my arch enemy disturbing.
That's the real
I mean,
Caballeron.
where
Okay.
is the booth for Caballeron? I do not see it like this. Come, let us find Daring Do and the amulet of Kulikon. I don't want to spend any more time in this place than I have to.
They just blend in because it's a convention. This is great.
Well, if it isn't the pony who knows impossible things can happen, because
This cutie
she
mark.
just
It's like a
does.
cartoon bubble with no text
Sorry
in it.
to quibble. I've got more important things to do than argue with a pony who thinks awesome means unrealistic.
No, wait! I want to hear more about how you're 100% sure that in Curse of the Jungle Queen,
Wow.
Daring Do could survive a 60-story
It's almost like a white glove
drop
smack.
on the top of a waterfall after sustaining a broken wing in a Category 6 rapid.
Obviously, her wing wasn't broken. Caballeron.
See, now that's a great character. Solid backstory, good motivations.
Oh no.
Caballeron is right there.
Of course he is. He's also over there,
There,
over
and
there,
over there,
oh,
and over there.
over there, and over there. Where are you going?
Oh, this is so awesome.
And we're out here because...
Daring Do told me that Cabaleron came to this convention to steal the amulet of Kulikon, and I just saw him and his hench ponies come this way!
Okay. I'm
And
gonna
now
get
he's
back
thinking she's losing
inside.
it.
There's just a little too much crazy out here for the both of us.
Yep. Uh-oh.
I do not know what Daring Do is playing at, but if she told you two fan ponies of my plan to steal the amulet, you must work for her.
Cabaleron! Ha! What do you have to say now, Quibble?
This was your plan to
Rainbow
prove the
Dash,
Daring Do books
not
are realistic?
important right
You
now.
bought a Daring Do experience adventucation. Really?
What? No! Oh, look around us! Hench ponies,
And
Cabaleron, the jungle...
Is this episode gonna end with him still thinking this is all just a fantasy?
Right. We're actually being held captive by Cabaleron. Please, this guy's accent is all over the place. No offense. So what's you kidnapped us and taken us to the middle of nowhere because...
A temple of Chico Mostok is somewhere in this jungle. When I find it, the seven-sided chest is as good as mine. I just need the amulet of Kulikon to unlock it.
And Daring Do has the amulet, so you came up with this overcomplicated plot to lure her into the jungle and exchange it for us.
I wouldn't call it overcomplicated, but yes.
Okay, we're done here. Great work. Seriously, very believable.
They're not gonna let him get away.
Listen, pal, you can keep her money, but I'm not...
Going anywhere. You may not approve of my plan, but I'm the mastermind here.
Debatable.
You will remain here until Daring Do comes to rescue you. And if she wants you back in one piece, she will
Patton
give me
Oswalt
the
is
amulet.
rocking
Tie
this
them up.
character.
The griffin's lock!
You know of it. Further proof that you are an agent of Daring Do.
Or an avid reader.
And now, I will continue my search for the temple. Don't go anywhere.
Let me guess, Rainbow Dash can break out of the lock in 10 seconds
Believe
flat?
This nonsense is real. Will you call off the hench pony repertory theater over there?
They're not gonna listen to me. They abducted us both.
Oh, wow. So you're gonna stick with that script? Oh, okay, fine. We're in a Daring Do adventure.
Yep.
What was that?
Daring Do, thank goodness, we're over here.
Are they actually gonna fall for
Can't
it?
let Daring Do rescue these two.
They are.
All four? I mean, shouldn't at least one of them stay behind to guard us? Oh, wait, no, because then it wouldn't be a terrible Daring Do adventure.
It doesn't matter. We'll never solve the griffin's lock before they get back. Okay, that was pretty good.
Okay, I thought it would be Dash figuring that out, but
No
sure.
way. Just point me to the hotel and you can play fan pony and hunt treasure out here all day long.
Fine. Let's just say this is a Daring Do adventurecation. The only way to get back to the convention is to go through it. So just follow me and I'll lead you out. Deal?
Fine.
Maybe if I just leave you in the jungle, it'll convince you.
Which would make Daring Do left hook, which we know is false, and that is everything that's wrong with Daring Do and the trek to the terrifying tower. Now, the problems with the next book are Oh, right. What Daring Do adventure would be complete without the precarious rope bridge?
This episode is just making like complete fun of this type of adventure story, and
Ponies, sure this thing is safe?
Is it too realistic for you? Wouldn't want that on a Daring Do adventure, would we?
If this were really a Daring Do adventure, I'm sure I'd step on the wrong plank at exactly the wrong Good thing this is all just a pretend adventure. At least we know all of this struggling won't make the bridge fall apart.
oh right.
You need to get your money back.
Okay, why not? Well, that didn't quite work as planned.
impossible.
That was awesome! And then you began the flying. Wow, and I was like, "Where are you going?" And then you swerved, and I was on the water and the rocks. And wow!
Yeah.
Gonna make a believer out of him.
You
Okay.
might even think it was unrealistic.
Okay, I'll give you that one. I mean, we could have been done for. We could have been done for. What kind of education is this? I mean, that's just bad business. What are these ponies thinking?
Right now, we are thinking that we should thank you for escaping. For you have led us directly to the lost temple of Chico Mostok.
Of course they did. Nice look on Dash's face. No, I said that this episode's kind of making fun of,
Make sure they are
or
secure this time. We can't have them
making
escaping
fun
again.
of, but touching on how a lot of people in the fandom
Wait with this.
don't like the whole daring do thing in the
You
MLP
led me
world.
to the
It's
temple,
totally
and
unrealistic.
daring do is too noble
So,
to
it's
let
just funny.
harm befall her companions, so the amulet is as good as mine. What? No witty remarks this time about how silly my plan is?
This isn't the official Daring Do Experience Adventucation, is it?
Finally.
Some cheap knockoff run by a bunch of incompetent ponies.
Oh, and
have
he's
no
still
idea
not
how to
buying
execute
it.
This adventure with any level of safety. What was that with the bridge? We were in serious danger. I'm reporting you all to... Well, I don't know who I'm reporting you to, but it's gonna be some pony important. Oh, and this cut-rate excuse for an experience hasn't proved anything except that I'm right. It has all the hallmarks of a lame daring-do adventure.
Uh-oh.
Quibble.
No, I'm talking. Generic jungle locations? Check. Overly complicated villain plot? Check. Random coincidences that conveniently get us to the next big set piece? Check.
What are you unstepping you for?
Listen, buddy, I don't take orders from some second-rate performer who learned acting from the supervillain school of bad accents. The only thing this mess is missing is some giant Aoi-Zodal wannabe monster, and I have a feeling that would be a bit too much for you bargain basement adventurers.
Behind you.
You're real. This is real.
Yep.
This is real!
Okay, I'm noting Dash is tied up so she can't fly. I was wondering where she was at.
I told you to warn me if anything suspicious. Not run off on an adventure without me.
Whoa! You're real! You're friends with her?
He's getting it.
We'll have to do introductions later. Right now,
Face.
You get out of here, yes! Thank you!
Instant memes.
actually, no.
What?
We can't leave without the treasure. And we should probably get to it before our friend gets any higher.
That would be a good idea.
Whoa. 7 doors,
Whoa.
7 locks. One of them leads to the treasure. I'd rather not think about what the others lead to.
Yeah, the classic pony and the tiger bit. All you have to do is...
Maybe you should let Daring Do figure it out.
Oh, excuse me. Not that one.
Is he gonna out Daring Do herself?
Is he always like this?
Yep.
But he's usually right.
Which lock do you think it is?
Oh, finally. Look, each door has another door that matches. These two both have earth ponies fighting serpents. These two have Pegasi fighting griffins. These two have unicorns fighting bears. But this one...
Has
unique.
an alicorn on it. It's the only one without a match. How did I miss that?
I've been asking myself that ever since book 4.
He's not gonna let this go, is he?
The 7-sided chest of Chico Mostok.
Okay.
Guys.
This is a problem.
Land is totally covered. How are we gonna get out of here? There.
Seriously, do you ever not escape out of the top of a temple?
We'll have to carry Mr. Adventure Critic out with us. We won't be fast enough. We'll never make it.
Guys! I think Rainbow Dash and I have this covered.
Ah, okay. What works once will work again.
You can't go over him!
Go over him? Are you crazy? If Quibble says go over him, go over him.
Nice.
You two are insane!
You said go over him.
I said go around him!
And I said be quiet.
This way! I heard them!
Okay, I got it. Let's create a fake treasure out of mud and rocks, give that to Caballero, and then when...
Not every daring do plan has to be super complicated.
Ooh, a little pie in his face
I
there.
heard them!
That works.
Not particularly original or inspired, but it worked.
Who are you again?
There's just no pleasing this guy.
Uh-huh. There's some stairs on the other side of the temple that lead out of the ravine. I suggest you two take them and head west.
What about you?
I've got to get this to a museum. Thanks for your help. I couldn't have done it without you. Both of you.
Aww. And he's gonna be in the next book?
So,
So, maybe the later books are slightly more realistic than I gave them credit for. Still don't like them.
what? How can you?
Wait, hold on. Before we get in another fight, I think I finally figured it out. I love the daring do that solves puzzles and uses her brain to get out of tough situations, and she did way more of that in the original trilogy. You love the daring do that is brave and awesome and comes out on top no matter what the odds.
Okay.
And that's okay. We might never agree on what makes daring do cool, but you are definitely cool. I mean, the way you saved me on the bridge, like, wow. And escaping from the temple, you, Rainbow Dash, are awesome.
Well, I'm not the one who can locate a treasure in half the time Daring Do can. You may have terrible taste in books, but you're
Wow.
pretty awesome yourself. In a brainy egghead puzzle solving
Rainbow
kind of way.
Dash showing
Guess
some
you don't have to agree on
humility.
everything to get along. Friends?
I'm impressed.
Definitely friends.
Do you think AK Yearling would consider letting me write the next book? I think it way
Knew that was
I mean, for
coming.
instance, in the second adventure, there's a side character. I don't want to kind of name it right now because it's
still
sort of
going.
this thing that I've already written a lot of fan fiction on. I don't want, not that I'm saying that you would steal it, but I am saying that this would totally go along my whole thing about puzzle solving, except what if each puzzle that was solved unlocked a new karate move? Think of it that way, right? And I'm kind of a year light myself, so I'm sure she'd be open to...
Quibble?
Sorry.
Oh, man. Very original. Just more monologue throughout the whole credits instead of any kind of outro theme. That's great. Yeah, definitely, the whole moral lesson thing is kind of a nod to how... I should probably just save this for the commentary, but it's just kind of a nod to how different people in the fandom, like the show for different reasons, and we don't all have to like it for the same reason. We just need to respect each other's viewpoints and opinions and all get along. So, I definitely want to watch this again. I'm sure there's plenty of stuff that I missed here, but yeah, I'm just gonna stop right here. I will be right back in just a second for you guys. Okay, definitely a great episode. It's not my top favorite in the season, but it is, I would definitely say top 5. It's definitely up there. It just kind of had a whole different focus than than a lot of the other episodes that are more focused on character growth and things like that. This was more a message to the fans, almost, on some things. Just before I get too deep into that here, I want to talk about that later. Just right off the bat, the whole thing with Griffinstone, I just got to touch on that again. That is, I really hope that's foreshadowing, because that was one of the things on my Season 6 wish list, is that I want to know what's happening in Griffinstone after that Cutie Map episode when we last saw Gilda there. So yeah, as there's been other discussion in the fandom around, you know, like all the allies that Equestria seems to be acquiring and whatever, it's like, well, the seeds of friendship had kind of been planted there, but the Griffins weren't necessarily, you know, good allies yet. So now that there's a friendship summit there, I'm very curious to know what's going on with that. I kind of hope that that's going to be a future episode, and it'll be one of those things where, like, here's the other side of the coin on the story, like we see the Twilight side of where that story started. So we'll just have to see if that comes on. I think I've heard we're going to get a Griffin episode again later this season, so just have to wait and see. So yeah, convention episode. They really nailed it on this. I gotta say, you know, I've only been to a couple smaller conventions, but just the look and feel of that old convention hall with all the vendors, you know, all the merchandise in various forms and such. You know, the cosplayers and all that stuff. They really nailed the feel of it. The one thing I felt was missing is they didn't do anything that, you know, looked like a panel of any sort. And I kind of understand why it didn't really fit where they were trying to go with this particular episode. And then there's time constraints and everything. I mean, the panels are a big part of conventions, so that's why it kind of felt like something was missing there. But, you know, they can't do everything. So, and also I was a little surprised that they didn't have Tabitha St. Germain in here, because she is one of the people that, of all, like, the VIP guests, she goes to a lot of the conventions, from what I've heard. So it's actually kind of funny that she wasn't voicing a character in this one somewhere, and that actually ends her streak, actually. It's just one of these goofy little details I picked up on. Tabitha St. Germain had been the only voice actor to be in every single episode of Season 6, up to the point of the hiatus, and she was not in this one. So that breaks the streak. It doesn't mean anything, it's just a fun little piece of trivia, so whatever. Yeah, then it's, on the flip side, is interesting, the comment about AK Yearling or Daring Do never going to these conventions. Like, why doesn't she normally go to the conventions? But I can understand wanting there to be a little bit of separation there, because she is actually the real life character, and if that disguise of hers were ever to fall off or whatever, yeah, the jig would be up. So probably best to keep the distance on that kind of thing. But anyway, yeah, and there was just so many nods to things in the fan, because, well, just Quibble Pants himself, he's one of these guys where, you know, he's an analyzer. He's, you know, nitpicked at all, you know, the specific wording of different stories and different you know, things, whatever descriptions of things, and figure out, like, what is canon, what isn't, and, you know, every fact, figure, date, timeline, whatever. You know, there's a lot of people out there that analyze this stuff to death. You know, I do it to some degree myself, but some people really take it to extremes almost, and then they can get very opinionated about certain things that you know, they've decided that, you know, this doesn't fit because of this, and therefore I reject its existence entirely. And if you try to talk to me about that, then we're gonna have a problem, you know. And that's the kind of thing that does happen, and that's what they were pointing out in this with Quibble Pants. So, you know, it just kind of highlights some of the infighting and stuff that can happen in this fandom. Well, in any fandom, really. I mean, it's human nature. It's one of those things. It's easy to, you know, everybody has their own opinion. Everybody is entitled to their own opinion, and that's fine. But, you know, it doesn't mean we shouldn't be able to still discuss at a, you know, in a peaceful, respectful manner, and still, you know, be friends with each other, or at least, you know, be able to breathe the same air without there being a war. You know, and I haven't really seen any squabbles or anything at the conventions I've been to. I think it's more of a internet forum thing where there's a lot of, you know, flaming and you know, triggering comments and things like that, a lot of trolling going on. Yeah, you're gonna have that no matter where you go, I think. But is that some people, they just, you know, get to be completely at odds with somebody else over, you know, they get hung up on some little detail about something, and they decide they can't stand the other person because they don't think the same way. And that just, that's no fun. I mean, that's kind of going against the whole, principles of this show. We're supposed to be promoting friendship and harmony, and if we're just bickering over, little trivial details that don't really matter in the grand scheme of things, then how is that helping the cause any? So we don't all come from the same walks of life. We don't all have the same likes and dislikes. There's a lot of people like the show for one reason. There's a lot of people like the show for a completely different reason. And, not everybody is always going to see the same things the same way as you. That doesn't mean we can't still be friends, to some degree anyway, and can't get along. And, and enjoy each other's company. Enjoy, celebrating a thing that does bring us together. So, yeah, I think that was just kind of the big message in this. I feel like this is the writers and producers and whatever acknowledging it's like, hey, we see you guys out there. We see the fandom. We see how awesome it is, how cool you guys are. We see the positives, but we also see the negatives. And, just like a lot of the other, little moral lessons that are presented throughout the course of this show, in our own world of the fandom, there's things that we need to be reminded of sometimes, and this is one of them. They see the negative. This is they see the infighting that can happen at times, and so we just need to remember that we really are all on the same team here. There's no reason to be factions within the fandom and different sides of things, So I know it's kind of a cliche. Why can't we all just get along? Well. And I said, I totally get some certain people just will never mesh well with other people. And that's not necessarily fine either, but you don't need to stand there and, you don't need to make a public scene about it. Just, okay, agree to disagree and go your separate ways, So, just, a good reminder, a good lesson, I think, to keep in mind as we interact as a fandom and, do things together. So... enough rambling on that. I mean, that's more or less the moral lesson of the episode. It was a little bit rushed at the end. I felt like how all of a sudden, the light bulb came on and Quibblepants got the lesson and said, "Here's what the lesson is." In this, it just seemed rather rushed. I'm guessing it was a time constraint thing, but Quibblepants himself, though, what an awesome character. I don't fault him at all for rejecting this reality that Rainbow Dash is trying to impose on him. I mean, can you imagine if somebody came up to you at a convention and was swearing that, they've been on adventures with the ponies from the show, they're actually real and they're here in real life, and, no, that's not going to happen. If anybody tried to claim that in seriousness, we would... commit him to the nut house, probably. I mean, it's a fictional word. It's the same scenario. Really, the Daring Do stuff is sold as a fictional, universe within the world of Equestria. So to have it actually be real, I mean, you pretty much have to slap somebody in the face with the proof to get him to acknowledge it. Which is probably a good thing for Daring Do's sake, actually, but... But yeah, so I just, the whole thing, he's trying to explain things away and whatever. And it's like, I get where you're coming from, dude. I'm sure you think Rainbow Dash has completely lost it on this. But, well, and then it didn't help anything. They had the adventucation, I think they called it. The adventure/vacation thing. Thought it was that and whatever. But it was just funny how obstinate he was about it. How he was able to play to all these cliches and make them work and stuff. When he's on that bridge, and falling through, and then he's hanging upside down, and Rainbow Dash flies down to him, and he turns to her. That felt like on the bridge, it felt like a scene out of the Emperor's New Groove or something. It just kind of had that vibe to it. All that, and then the water skiing and everything. It just, but he turns to her and says, "You need to get your money back." Like, that's what you're concerned about right now? You're hanging precariously from a breaking bridge over, a river and waterfall. Like, you're about to die, man. That's all you care about. It's like not even accepting that he was in real danger. It just... Oh, it's funny. But and then it's funny too because of the fact that he, had analyzed everything to death and was really good at the puzzles and problem solving and whatever. Like he really showed up daring do on being able to find the right door to use with that key, and that in and of itself is kind of another nod to the fandom actually. Because again, because we love the show so much and you get to be passionate about it, you start learning all these little pieces of trivia and the facts and figures and like making sense of all the pieces of lore that are somewhat disconnected and not really designed with continuity in mind, and piecing together theories and stuff. I mean, the fandom goes way more in depth on this stuff than probably a lot of the writers do, and especially than a lot of the voice actors do. I mean, a lot of those voice actors don't even regularly watch the show, don't even know what episode we're on or anything. So it's kind of funny how we end up knowing a lot more about them, and that was kind of highlighted in that scene. But quite frank, well, he was kind of discussed with Daring Do for not being able to figure it out, but nobody's perfect, for starters, and secondly, again, the person going on these adventures is writing the books about him. Who's to say that Daring Do isn't taking some creative license to actually, omit some of the parts where she's made stupid mistakes and things. You never know. I mean, granted, she has managed to get out of him afterwards, but, she is imperfect like anyone else, so she probably has made mistakes at times, and it's just not obvious by reading the books. So, oh yeah, too. The another way that this episode I feel like kind of speaks to the fandom. I think I forgot to mention this earlier. I'm sorry if I'm repeating this, but I know there's a good chunk of the fandom that just really is either indifferent to the Daring Do stuff or outright hates it because of how weird it got. Like at first, okay, it's a series of storybooks within the world of Equestria. That was great. But then they made Daring Do a real character, and the adventures are actually happening in real life within Equestria in present day. And it's like, how is this stuff kind of going on under Celestia's nose and whatever? Like, how are these things happening? And it just made it kind of weird and stuff. I understand why people might not like it, because I personally don't mind it. I just take it in stride and enjoy it. But I do understand why some people just have issues with it like that. And I feel like this kind of played to that a little bit because of the whole thing, just with Quibblepants making fun of all the cliches and whatever, and then especially Caballero and his guys. This is how do you take characters like that are literally out of a storybook world almost and put them in the real world and have them make sense? And it's so funny because they showed up at the convention where everybody's cosplaying as these characters, and then they blend right in because of it. It just, oh man. That's one thing too. I was wondering where this convention was at. Nothing was ever said about, unless I completely missed it. I never heard a location for where this convention was taking place. I wondered if it would be Las Pegasus, for reasons that many of you in the fandom might find obvious. So I don't know, but nothing was ever said, so I guess it's really unimportant. But anyway, yeah, Quibblepants, great character. I just love, Patton Oswalt. He just rocked it as that character. Absolutely nailed it. And it's so funny the way he kept talking. He dominated this episode in dialogue, just the sheer volume of dialogue. It was great. He talked all the way through the credits. I mean, there were so many moments in here where I felt like it was bordering on a sort of a fourth wall break or something. I mean, it didn't quite cross that line, but it's just the way he was rejecting reality as if it was, some made up, that Ventucation thing and whatever. So it almost felt like he was going there, but no, I got to touch on Rainbow Dash here a little bit, briefly. I am really impressed with Rainbow Dash in this episode. It really wasn't focused on her. I mean, she was the only main character to appear in it, but it kind of almost felt like she had more of a sidekick role almost. I mean, she didn't try to become the dominant leader of the, when the two were traipsing through the jungle and whatever, necessarily. I mean, Patton was the one more kind of, leading the charge on things, or not Patton, Quibblepants. And so she was just kind of, staying out of the way, but then was like swooping in to help, save him when needed and things. And then the part at the end, it just felt like she was kind of keeping her ego in check a little bit, because she even had, numerous opportunities there, like just to kind of, flaunt the fact that she was, in the inner circle with Daring Do, but she got one shining moment to do that smug smirk on her face when she was putting her wing around Daring Do, and the Quibblepants was realizing that Daring Do is real and Rainbow Dash is friends with her and had been on adventures with her. Like, she got that one beautiful moment of, like, kind of to gloat, kind of, and she handled it beautifully. She just had that awesome look on her face, didn't say a word, as that was beautiful. But no, then at the end, when Quibblepants is, saying, hey, I'm understanding now, we like it for different reasons, doesn't mean we can't still get along and whatever. And then he's turning around and, like, buttering her up, saying, well, you're really cool, like how you saved me on the bridge, and you're cool, you're awesome. As I was just waiting, like, where's the 20% cooler thing? It's like that, and I was kind of expecting a Sonic Rainbow earlier. That didn't happen. I was expecting, like, these old running gags, and they didn't use them. And I'm actually kind of glad they didn't use them, because they've been overused. But no, I shockingly, there was just kind of like a brief moment there where I thought Rainbow Dash was about to, kind of, go off on a kind of an ego thing there and say, well, yeah, I was pretty awesome, wasn't I? But then she just, like, immediately swallowed the prize, like, well, but, I wasn't the one who, did, such and such, figured out that the key puzzle and whatever, like he did. Like, instead of saying one word about, yeah, I know I'm awesome, or I know I'm cool, or whatever, she did not say one word about that. Instead, she took the opportunity to offer praise to somebody else, saying that they were more awesome than she was in some aspect. That blew me away. I know from what I had seen in Newbie Dash, I felt like Newbie Dash was really a breakthrough for Dashie, because I felt like she's really showing signs that she's growing up and getting some humility and stuff. It's, where it's not just about her anymore. And that followed right through in this episode. We got to see it again. I thought I would see it in, like, another Wonderbolts episode instead of we got a Daring Do episode, but that notwithstanding, that's what I saw, and that I love that. If there's one piece of character growth in this, that was it right there. We got to see a more mature, or a continuing maturity of Rainbow Dash. So I just love that. It's been such a long time coming. I mean, she's still awesome. She is. And she knows that she is. And that's fine. But she's not flaunting it in others' faces anymore. So, major step there. Alright, I'm going to stop rambling about all this now. I'm sure I've pretty much covered everything in this episode that I wanted to. So, but yeah, again, just, anybody who loves the show and loves watching it, just remember, we're all on the same side. We just if you can just find it possible to respect others' opinions that don't disagree with you and just agree to disagree, then we'll all be much better off for it. So yeah, stay awesome, everyone. Thanks for watching, and yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to the next episodes coming up in the coming weeks here. I'm sure there's going to be some more really good ones, so stay tuned. Later.